Hi, friend. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about something that I am planning to bring to Unlimited and have my clients focus on in January. So I thought, why not just share some of this on the podcast? So, what we're going to be talking about today is the idea that I want my clients, and I would recommend anyone, to focus so much more this year on who you're becoming than the actual goal. I think something that you're going to see a lot this year will help you become more successful is you'll I think you're going to see people who they're going to pull ahead when they are focusing on who they are becoming and how they're showing up more than they're focusing on what they want. And I think that's just because we're seeing a lot of I don't even want to say trends, but trends with people focusing more on their personal brand, people focusing more, even just in day to day life, on how they care for themselves. And I just really think this year you're going to pull ahead if you focus on who you want to be rather than what you want to achieve. And I think a lot of us, especially when we get in the midst of pursuing our goals and our businesses and our jobs or careers or whatever it is, I think of a lot of us get focused on what we want to create rather than who we are in the process of creating it. Not realizing that if we stay focused on who we want to be in the process of creating it, it will become so much easier to create it. And what I mean by that is, let's say you have this big goal. Think about whatever goal it is for you. When we go to create it, oftentimes when it looks like it's not going to happen, or we start to get doubtful, or we start to pressurize it, who we become in that process is someone who is a little bit more in scarcity, someone who feels a little more pressure, someone who gets a little graspy towards it, someone who is willing to put down their standards in exchange for hitting that milestone. And I think that, not that that's who we're becoming, but who we are in that process is likely not who we want to be, or the version of ourselves who hits that goal, who creates what we really want. Whereas if we are able to trust ourselves and hold the faith that if we show up as the person we want to be, if we hold that faith, if we keep believing ourselves, if we hold our standards, even if it feels more uncomfortable and less likely, let's say, to hit that goal, if we step more into who we want to become, it will be more likely to hit the goal because it is more in alignment with the version of yourself who creates that goal. So the questions that I'm going to be bringing to my clients that I want to start coaching them on and sitting with them with and just really having them percolate on is, who do you want to become in the first few months of this year? What desires are you deeply connected with and that feel 100% yours, that version of you is aligned with? And what growth areas do we feel we need to tap into for you to really step more full time into that identity and those desires? The thing that I'm going to recommend to my clients, that I would recommend to anyone listening to this, is focus 40 times more on who you are going to be in the process of creating what you want this year rather than whether or not you're achieving it. And I think that really takes choosing which kind of discomfort you're facing. So I think when we fall into the scarcity, the pressure, the hustling, and really just dropping our standards for who we want to be, we face the discomfort of old habits, of pushing through, of ignoring our feelings, of trying to fit in, of that scarcity thinking, of feeling less than enough. Those are all sources of discomfort that we fall prey to when we are focused more on what we're achieving versus the discomfort of growing out of all that. The discomfort of holding the faith, the discomfort of continually showing up as who you want to be, even when things get hard. And I think if you can choose your discomfort, if you can choose which type, the discomfort of staying where you are truly, or the discomfort of growth, that is going to determine who you are this year. And I think the more you focus on stepping into who you want to become and holding that and practicing that even in the hard times, the more I think you're going to be able to create what you want this year. The more I think you're going to see yourself pulling ahead of where you thought you would be. I'm going to talk about this in, I think it's 2 weeks from now. But for example, in January, I'm already spending a lot more time on my desires and how I want to be and who I want to be rather than, let's say, goals or material desires. So I'm spending a lot of my time in how do I want to spend my time? How do I want to, or what habits do I want to pick back up? How do I desire to feel? Who do I want to be? How do I want to handle things rather than on the goals? And I think as entrepreneurs, we get very wrapped up in milestones and goals in sales months, in how we did, in all these metrics. And that's really the opposite of what I'm saying. And I am spending so much more time in who do I want to be this month? How do I want to grow this month? How do I want to feel this month? And letting that be my priority, letting that be the standard to which I operate, which I think will only help you hit all your material desires anyway. In Audacious, my video bundle course that I have, so much of what we're doing is spending time in how you want to see yourself and changing how you think about yourself, because when you change how you think about yourself, you can start to show up more as who you want to be rather than falling into the pits of getting down on yourself or feeling less than enough. You're never going to feel less than enough after you buy Audacious. And I just think that when you can really change how you see yourself and change the standard to which you operate and how you really hold yourself, everything's going to become so much easier because you're keeping your promises to yourself. You're really upholding who you want to be, how you want to move through the world. And when you're doing that, it's building trust. And when you're building that trust, it becomes easier for you to do the hard things. It becomes easier for you to go all in. It becomes easier for you to create what you really want. And I think one of the biggest things that it's going to take for people to focus more on who they're becoming rather than what they're achieving this year is that self-trust, is that unwavering self-trust. It's the ability to have self-worth when you're not hitting what you want. And it's the ability to really have the self-belief that you can do it even when it doesn't look like you're going to. And I think that's why people fall so easily into, what they're creating and how far they're going and what they're pushing and just really tying their worth and their success is because they don't have that self-worthiness, because they don't have that self-belief, because they don't have that unwavering self-trust, all of which we help you build in Audacious. Because I really think to go all in, to really hit every single goal you want, to create unrealistic success in 2024, you are going to need to step into who you want to be. And that is going to take self-belief, self-trust, and self-worth. So again, focus so much more this year on who you want to be than what you want to achieve. It's so funny. It's so interesting. Oftentimes when I ask people, who do you want to be? They'll start giving me what they've achieved. They'll start giving me what they want in terms of, oh, I've created this or I have this. And it's very rare that people will answer with, this is who I am. This is who I'm becoming, in terms of how you handle things, how you feel about yourself, what qualities you possess, how you move through the world, how you treat other people. And that's what I want you focusing on. And that I'm so excited to see how my clients even grow through this with this focus, because they are going to, my clients already achieve really fast. They are like, I already have clients who do so much more than they have pretty much the last multiple years of their lives once they enter my containers. And it's because we do such a good job focusing on the confidence of this. But I'm so excited to see how much that even that speeds up and accelerates even more. Really talking about this in Audacious and Unlimited and seeing how it evolves for them. So what I would do if I were you is I would go journal on right now and really sit with it. Do it at a time that you feel good about it. Do it at a time where you can feel very connected to it. But who do you want to be this year? How do you want to handle things this year? This is huge. How do you want to see yourself and treat yourself this year? Because that's confidence, and that alone will change all the success you ever had and make it truly like you'll just be mind blown if you build your confidence, how much further you can go. So who do you want to be? How do you want to see yourself? How do you want to move through things? How do you want to handle the hard times? And what will make you really proud of yourself? Who is it? What's the version of yourself that will look back and be so proud of yourself if you become that version? And just sit with that, journal on that. And I promise if you let that be your North Star, what leads you all year long, more so than what you achieve, what you create, how fast you're creating it, you will go so much further than you think possible. Okay, try that out. Let me know how it goes. And you can click the show notes to learn more about my Audacity challenge, which is my 21-day challenge to absolutely boost your confidence so fast. People have done crazy things from that. And join my video bundle, Audacious. It's like, I think at this point already, it's 10 plus hours of videos of me chatting with you about building your self-belief, building your self-worth, building your self-trust so you become a person with head-turning confidence who goes all in on themselves, no longer questions, no longer doubts themselves, and truly just blows their own mind with how confident you can become. So check those out in the show notes, and I'll catch you at the next episode.